Hi She Knitters, it's Sharon. This is the new and improved Donna 1 video from the She Knits pattern Donna. I'm going to demonstrate rows 30, 31, and 32 because it shows all the techniques that I want you to give you a little help on if you need them. But first I want to show you the lovely I-cord that does happen at the top. It is thicker on the back and does show more in that thickness on the back, but I liked the way it actually looked along the front, which is really the back of the I-cord, and that it's more subtle. And don't worry, yours will eventually look that way. At the beginning it's kind of spread out, but eventually it'll look that way. This yarn is worsted weight yarn, and it has a lot of twist in it, and probably might be too textured really to show Donna at its best, but I wanted to use worsted weight yarn to show you the stitches. Okay, so row 30 begins with knit 3. Some of these you already know, like how to knit. And you're knitting into a KPK from the previous row, and you just knit like normal. You don't go into the back of the stitch if it's twisted, you just knit like normal. Yarn over, and then I bring the yarn forward to purl 2. I'm going to be showing you purl twist in just a moment on this. Purl 3, knit 3, yarn over, and then I bring the yarn forward. It looks like I'm wrapping twice, but I'm really not. Just bringing it forward to again purl 2 together, and then knit 2. Now next I'm going to show you purl twist. I'm going to show it to you 5 times so you'll really get a good look at it. You bring the yarn forward to purl the next 2 stitches together, and what I like to do is pull down underneath those stitches so I can make a space to stick my needle in. You leave it on that left hand needle, and then you separate those 2 stitches. You don't have to, I just find that it's easier, and if you knit English like me, it's easy to do. Stick the yarn, the needle, right hand needle back in the first part of that, the first stitch of the purl 2 together, and then you slip both stitches off together. Again, purl 2 together, leave it on the left hand needle, separate those 2 stitches, purl that first stitch again, slide them both off, and again, purl 2 together, leave them on the left hand needle, bring the needle in the first stitch of it, purl that again, slip them off, purl 2 together, purl the first one, slip them off, one more time, purl 2 together, don't slide it off, put it back in, purl 1, slip it off, and this ends with a purl 1, and finally knit 3. And that was row 30, and now we're on to row 31, which starts with a SYF3, which is slip yarn front, and this is where the confusion was before. So when you slip yarn front or slip yarn back, you always slip a zip to purl. So here we go. Slip a zip to purl, slip a zip to purl, slip a zip to purl, and I kind of pull down and tighten that and bring that yarn across the front, because this is slip yarn front. Pull it tightly. I bring the yarn to the back because the next stitch is a knit stitch. I'm going to quickly knit 11. And then after this knit 11, you're going to have a slip yarn back. My yarn will already be in back because I knit the last stitch. So I just leave it there and simply slip that stitch as if to purl. Next is knit 1, yarn over, purl 2 together, knit 3, yarn over, purl 2 together, and knit 3. And now we're already up to row 32, starting with bind off 2 stitches, and when you bind off you always start with knitting the first stitch of the bind off, and then you bind off the next two. So it's knit 1, bind off 1 and 2, let's yarn over, purl 2 together, and again we're going to have bind off 2. So again I knit the first one, next stitch, and then I knit the next one and bind off 1, bind it off, and the next one, yarn over, purl 2 together, and knit 2, and here we are back at doing purl twist again, which I'll demonstrate. And then, though the row finishes with knit 3, I'm going to show you KPK. So here's my purl twist. Knit into the first stitch again, purl 2 together, leave them on the needle, purl into the first stitch again, slide it off, purl 2 together, purl into the first stitch again, slide them all off, purl 2 together, into the first one again, slide it off, and one more time. You've got it down by now, right? And slide it off. Now the last 3 stitches are knit, 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 but I just want to show you KPK. You knit into the stitch, leave it on the needle, bring the yarn forward through the center of both needles, purl the same stitch, leave it on the needle, bring the yarn back through the center of the 2 needles, and knit. I'm going to show you it again. It turns 1 stitch into 3. Knit, leave it on the left hand needle, bring the yarn forward and purl that same stitch, and bring the yarn back and knit that same stitch. And there you have it. Those are all the things you need to know for Clue 1 and for some of the remaining Donna. See you next time.